Good morning. Didn't get any better after a night's sleep, did it? At all. Right, we can talk about United. I don't want to, though. Not yet, at least. We're going to talk a little bit about Newcastle, about Liverpool, and about the Alexander Isak saga that has been the number one sort of transfer story across this entire summer. Now, it starts with, supposedly, who you believe, I guess, there being some sort of a verbal agreement with Isak and the previous sporting director before Paul Mitchell came in. Paul Mitchell came in and went, "You what? Yeah, we're not doing that. You can hang around and you can just stay right there, my mate." Liverpool submit a bid, somewhere in the region of 110 million, absolute monumental amount of cash, on top of the absolute monumental amount of cash that they'd already dunked for Florian Wirtz this season. On top of the other monumental cash that they paid for other sort of players. Liverpool having one of those, I'm not really asked about realistic transfer windows, I'm playing a video game sort of football manager seasons that we've all done down the years, haven't we? But Liverpool are doing it for reals after winning the title. Second in 30 years, well done. Now, Isak, unlike some players, as they're leaving the club, decides to launch the Teddies right out of the pram. Goes on strike. Not allowed to train. Totally tosses it off. Goes on social media, giving it the big one. Trying to force his way out on a move. And Liverpool, in the meantime, signed Hypocrisy, who was, at one point, a target for Newcastle because they got rejected by Benjamin Sesko and Mark Gay and Mbumo and about 15 others, by the looks of it, over the course of the summer. So from Newcastle point of view, you can understand it. I mean, it's funny because Newcastle fans are the worst in the league. Or at least the thickest. Thickest, not worst, but they are the thickest. All they've got is cliches and bad one-liners and references from the 90s. So you can understand the ire, at least a little bit, from the Newcastle fans. But what strikes me is the hypocrisy of everybody in this situation. Shearer's seen his arse, called it a fucking mess. Liverpool, or Slot at least, has come out and gone, not even that interested in Isak, actually. Which might be true. They might actually have settled on Hypocrisy and gone, that'll do us, actually. Because I'll be real, when you look at that forward line, you know, Salah, Wirtz, Hypocrisy, you know, are you really going to sit Hypocrisy down to start Isak when you've just spent, was it 80 million on Hypocrisy? I just don't see it, to be honest with you. And the madness is, and this is what makes football so much fun, I think at least anyway. You've got Liverpool against Newcastle tonight, amidst all of this drama. The old Isakio derby. He's going to be nowhere near this. He'll be watching like us on telly later on Monday Night Football. But I don't know if there's going to be a resolution to this. I saw a report over the weekend that PIF are going to be who decides. Obviously, PIF are who owns Newcastle, even though they sort of pretend that they don't, but they clearly do. It's going to be PIF that decides what happens. That's the Public Investment Fund from Saudi Arabia. Because obviously from Newcastle point of view, they don't need the money. From a PSR and FFP point of view, they do, because they've not stopped crying about it all year. That's not what stopped you signing players, lads. People not wanting to live in Newcastle is what stopped you signing players, including the players that already play for you. But selling Isak for 100 and something million absolutely puts you in in the black when it comes to your PSR and FFP and any other 3-letter acronym that you can come up with. If you can actually convince someone to come and play for your shithole of a club. And this is what makes football so much fun for me. When people talk about, when people watch Hollyoaks or EastEnders or anything like that, absolutely couldn't think of anything worse to do. But then you've got the real life drama like this in football. And typically, and this might even be a cliche, but typically this game does deliver. Especially when it's a night game. This is the original high scoring madness of a game, isn't it? I fully expect tonight to be no different whatsoever. And I can't wait for it. And I don't think there's an end in sight for this saga. I really don't. I think that this is going to rumble and rumble at least until the end of the window. And then even if it goes to the end of the window and he's not moved, it's still not the end of it, is it? Because if it does finish and he's not left, well, that's not the end of it. Because he's got to somehow get back into the team on some level. And I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I don't know if he's going to get back into the team. I don't know if PIF are going to just be like, we're so rich, forget FFP for a minute, we're not being made to look like mugs by Isak, now let him rot. And actually, there's probably so much going to happen towards the back end of the window when it comes to all of these gone squad players, because every team has got gone squad players. Chelsea have got a separate dressing room for their gone squad. I love that. Pure naughty step vibes. United are about 20 minutes away from building a second annex to our changing room for our own gone squad. And then, you've got Isak at Newcastle. And it's not the only ones. At every club, there's players giving it the full-on Winston Bogart treatment of, I'm on a good contract, I'll just sit here. Which is just a consequence of modern football, isn't it? We find ourselves in that situation because we put ourselves in them situations. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Anyway, a little bit of admin, a couple of announcements for you. First up, shout out to all the new Patreons. Loads of people come and join the Patreon recently, and a load joined yesterday, even though I've not given a shout out for it in like over a week or so. If you want to know what all the fuss is about, then check the link in the description. You'll find out exactly what all the fuss is about and why people are joining. I didn't post it over the weekend because I've not really had a chance, to be brutally honest with you. But I'll be sticking in my training program into Patreon today, and I'll be doing a Q&A. Probably not about that, but it'll end up being about that, I'm sure. So I'll drop the questions, or I'll drop the prompt for a Q&A today, as well as posting my 10-week High Rocks program. I did see the physio over the weekend, and I probably was limping. I don't feel like I've been limping whilst I've been walking, but as I've watched the videos back, I am. So that's new. I don't feel like I'm limping today. Don't feel sore today either. But yeah, the training program carries on. I'm at a High Rocks. It is basically a running event, and I can't run, and I won't be running for another 4 or 5 weeks at an absolute minimum. Today I am doing some deadlifts, some RDLs, some other sort of accessory strength work like that. And then I've got a little bit of a finisher, which is a bit High Rocksy inspired. A couple of stations from High Rocks. Tomorrow should be a 3-a-day, like I mentioned over the weekend, 10k, and then 2 classes at Urban Reform. I need to book on those actually. I need to do, that's a job for today. Write that down. And then Wednesday I'm making the decision on whether or not I do this ultra next weekend. I think I'm like 80% not doing it. Why? Well, as you lot have already noticed, I'm limping walking. So a 56-mile hike up and down mountains, which is going to take me 20 hours going for it, probably not going to have a high chance of success, is it? and realistically might put me back even further or re-injure the calf. So what's the plan with that? Well, test it. So what I'm going to do on Wednesday this week, I'm going to do something called Edale Skyline. So I did that a couple of months ago. I think it took me about 6.5 hours. So it's about 21 mile. It's 30k. And you climb, I think it's 3 or 4 mountain peaks in the Peak District. To be fair, it doesn't actually, there's only one bit where it feels like you're actually climbing. You do end up summiting quite a few spots, but it doesn't really feel like much of a climb all the way through it. It's pretty brutal, man. But either way, I'm doing that. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. And I'm going to use that as my go, no go for doing the Bullock Smithy Ultra, which is next weekend. I feel like it's probably a no. But I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go do it Wednesday, and then I'm going to see how my calves feel on Thursday and make a decision on it. I wanted to do the Smithy Bullock Smithy last year, and I didn't think I had it in me, so I pulled out, and my mate went and did it, and he finished it. And I was like, right, I'll do it next year. And then for the last 4, 5, 6 months, I've just been dealing with this calf pull that I just can't get over. And all the advice you guys have been putting in the comments, you're all absolutely right. What is it? It's a combination of things, isn't it? It's a soleus pull, which is just, a weakness in the calf, and then you get it fixed, or you don't quite get it fixed, and another bit goes because you've compensated with the way you've been running or walking or whatever. And I know that's exactly what it is. It's just frustrating. We'll get there in the end, but it seems like it's rocketed all sorts of different events that I wanted to do this year, loads of them, which is so annoying, so frustrating. But yeah, that's the plan for the first part of the week. A little bit of strength stuff today, a little bit of conditioning and engine tomorrow. Very Hyrox centric. Wednesdays are 30k hike. Thursdays are bro split. Our beach muscles are it's just literally like aesthetic stuff. Chest, back, shoulders, biceps, triceps, the guns. And then Friday is deadlifts and legs. And then Saturday, I think it's a conditioning circuit again. But yeah, busy. And in between, we're walking every morning, couple mile. So that's that. If you want to know why, what, how, when, where, all the rest of that sort of stuff, we are 49 people joining Patreon away from the target that I set for when I would bring on the strength and conditioning coach that I work with, and we'll do like a bit of a podcast with him just for you guys, and we'll answer your guys' questions. Like I said, I ain't a strength and conditioning coach. I've got less than zero desire to sell you guys programs, but I can show you mine and I can explain why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that I think works. But either way, let us know what you think. If you're interested in the Patreon, hit the link in the description, come and join it. Otherwise, attack the day. Let's start Monday strong, get off on the right foot. You got to start stacking the wins, stacking the dominoes, and everything's momentum in it. Go a day at a time and just get after it. But we start on the right foot. It's in a bizzle.